Do you try to lose weight every single new year and you either lose the weight and are unsuccessful in keeping it off, or you just can't seem to get rid of those last 10, 20, or 30 pounds? Then you should watch this video. Every year, millions of people set out to lose weight. Some of them are successful, but many aren't. There's a statistic out there that 6 out of 7 obese people will lose a substantial amount of weight in their lifetime and put it back on. And the number one reason for this, in my opinion, is that people typically, when they set out on a New Year's resolution, they set out to make extreme changes. Make changes to their diet, to their workouts, to their behavioral patterns. They start going to the gym every day after work. They start cutting out all junk food. Now, while these may be some good habits to have long term, throwing it all right out the gate is the wrong way to go about it. And here's why. First off, when you start making all these behavioral changes right away from the get-go, it's awesome because you're riding that motivation train, right? That motivation train gets you, you are ready to go. You're ready to take on the world. Nothing's going to stop you. But unfortunately, that can't be sustained long term. And at some point, life is going to happen, as it happens to all of us. It's going to suck. And all these new habits that you're starting to create, they're going to be much harder to sustain if you've started to make a whole plethora of them. You know, you started going to the gym 5 days a week. You don't eat any more junk food. You stopped eating fast food. You know, you're doing all these awesome things, but there's a reason why you've gravitated towards those in the past. We all find ways to cope. And the difference between someone that's able to keep weight off versus someone that's not is that typically the person that stays relatively lean or in shape year round, they've just built coping mechanisms in, I guess, quote unquote, healthier ways. By healthier, I mean just more conducive to their actual body weight goals. For example, me personally, there's nothing in this world that could stop me from going on a routine walk every single day in the sun. There's nothing that could stop me from working out, lifting weights at least 2 times a week. But those have just been patterns that I've built over time. And those are patterns that everyone can build. Just in the beginning, you know, change isn't easy and it takes time to make those long-term habits. Now, the second reason why the whole methodology of throwing everything at yourself right out the gates is not the right way to go is because of the way the body adapts to changes and stressors. If you come right out the gates and make all those changes, are you going to see results really fast? Yes. You know, within a month, 2 months, you're going to see a drastic change in your body and it's going to feel really good. But inevitably what happens is people hit a wall. And what they unfortunately tend to do when they hit that wall is they either give up or they push even harder. They push themselves into this hole to where at some point they have to get out of that hole. And unfortunately, the way they get out of the hole is just by letting loose. And a lot of times they'll find themselves putting on more weight than they had in the first place. So how do we combat this? How do we go about it in the way that I would recommend? I think the best way for someone to start seeing progress is to take the slow route. Understand that wherever you're at, it took a long time to get yourself there. But how do we get yourself out of it? By slowly implementing new behavioral habits that you know no matter what you can sustain, such as working out 2 days a week. Go into the gym, do some resistance training for less than an hour each session, just 2 times a week. Start there. Tell yourself that no matter what, I am going to make this happen. And the thing is, that's much easier to commit to than making all the changes that we talked about before. And what's going to be awesome is once you get there and you hit a wall, because you will, I mean, walls are inevitable, plateaus are inevitable. Do you know what you do? Then you can start making some changes to your diet. Then you can start adding a little bit more steps in your day, you know, parking farther from work. Okay, then instead of every elevator you see, you don't take the elevator anymore. You take the stairs. But making these small habits in time will get you to a point to where you cope by using exercise. I personally don't believe that anyone doing exercise right won't get to a point to where they fall in love with it. Do they fall in love with the process of going to the gym and working out and sweating? Maybe not. You know, that's a funny thing about us fitness folks is we're kind of weird. I mean, we like to go to the gym and we like to like beat ourselves down and push ourselves, and it's kind of weird when you think about it. But what I think everyone can fall in love with is how much better they feel. How much better they feel about themselves for doing something that they said they're gonna do. Not to mention all the health benefits that you feel. You'll sleep better, you'll feel stronger, your sex drive will be better. Everything just gets better when you routinely do exercise. But not if you do too much. And most people tend to just jump right into stuff, and it unfortunately has them hit a wall. And no one's safe from this. You know, even outside of fitness, this happens all the time, but that's a topic for another video. So where would I have someone start that came to me that wanted to make some changes in the new year? Look at where you're at now and just do a little bit more. I think a bare minimum of 2 hours a week of resistance training, maybe a little bit less, you know, it includes some mobility work in there and stretching and everything. I think that's suitable for 80% of the population at least. You know, most people, they just want to look better and feel better. And that is definitely enough. And once you start on that habit and that practice, you will be hard pressed to find that it is not much easier for you to start making other changes. Start changing your diet a little bit. Start getting some sunshine. You know, whatever that may be, because I can make a whole video of like healthy practices that you can incorporate. But no matter where you see information from, it's not that the information's bad, but you'll find a lot of videos out there that say, oh, you need to be doing this, and oh, you need to be doing that, and you have to be doing this. And I'm not saying that those things aren't applicable in some way, shape, or form. It's just the problem is we get overloaded. You know, we hear all these things from different fit people that were like, wow, we want their abs and we want to be as strong in them and we want to look like them. And it unfortunately just puts people in a place where like, I can never be like that. That's not true. Look at where you're at. Understand that this is a long-term process. This isn't something that you're just going to do and you're going to just boom, you're going to get in the shape you want. And then you just, you know, it's not that hard to maintain. It is a long-term application of new habits. That's what fitness is. And the most appropriate way of making that a reality, slow and controlled, slow and steady. Just do a little bit more, month over month. Is that going to be a slow process? Yes. Are you going to feel much better about yourself 2 years down the road when you stick to it and you make those small incremental changes and you get to your goal weight and you're able to sustain it? Oh, you're going to feel much better than the person that loses a substantial amount of weight in 2 months and then puts it back on. So I hope this helps. I've been a personal trainer for a little over 2 years now, and I do see a lot of still terrible information out there on the internet regarding health and fitness. Albeit I also see a lot of great information coming out all the time as well, which is amazing. But my hope with this channel is to, one, spread just some of the things that I've learned regarding nutrition and health in the past, 2+ years. But also just some of the things personally I've dealt with as far as, being a single father, co-parenting with, stepmom or with mom and stepdad. And, just some of my general issues regarding confidence and many other things that you would imagine a 29-year-old male would struggle with. So if that sounds interesting to you, please like, subscribe, do the thing. Happy New Year, and I hope you all achieve your goals in this coming year.